greatest digital asset ever created. I'm so glad I accumulated before the space got saturated. XRP the greatest digital asset ever created. Make the haters aggravated, get the spaceship activated. XRP the greatest digital asset ever created. I'm so glad I accumulated.
What's good? What's good? Welcome back to the channel, guys, where you get your XRP, where you get your crypto news in general. I'm excited. I'm still off high from the other video. I hope y'all still excited. Still been stacking your coins. I'm not a financial advisor, but I definitely wanted you guys to look at the President Donald Trump's speech from the Digital Asset Summit 2025. Listen up to this.
At the Blockworks Digital Assets Summit, it's an honor to speak with you about how the United States is going to dominate crypto and the next generation of financial technologies. And it's not going to be easy, but we're way ahead. Just 2 weeks ago, we hosted the first ever White House Digital Asset Summit, bringing together many of the world's top leaders in crypto for a conversation led by our White House AI and crypto czar, David Sachs, who's a fantastic and very brilliant guy. That same week, I signed an order creating the brand new strategic Bitcoin reserve and a U.S. digital asset stockpile, which will allow the federal government to maximize the value of its holdings instead of foolishly selling them for a fraction of their long-term value, which is exactly what Biden did. He got a fraction of their value. We're ending the last administration's regulatory war on crypto and Bitcoin, and that includes stopping the lawless Operation Choke Point 2.0. Operation Choke Point went beyond regulation, and I mean far beyond. It was a form of lawfare through government weaponization. Frankly, it was a disgrace. But as of January 20th, 2025, all of that is over. I've also called on Congress to pass landmark legislation creating simple, common sense rules for stablecoins and market structure. With the right legal framework, institutions large and small will be liberated to invest, innovate, and take part in one of the most exciting technological revolutions in modern history. It's so big, it's, I think, as big as you can get. Pioneers like you will be able to improve our banking and payment system and promote greater privacy, safety, security, and wealth for American consumers and businesses alike. You will unleash an explosion of economic growth, and with the dollar-backed stablecoins, you'll help expand the dominance of the U.S. dollar, and many, many years to come, it'll be at the top, and that's where we want to keep it. We only want to keep it at the top, always. I can already see that the energy and passion of the crypto community is the kind of spirit that built our country, and it is exciting to watch as you invent the future of finance. And right here, it's going to be right here in the USA, the good old USA. Together, we will make America the undisputed Bitcoin superpower and the crypto capital of the world. Thank you. Good luck. God bless America.
All right, I always wanted to show that just because, I mean, obviously he is in the United States president. He's in the presidency. He's in the White House. This is the first president has ever spoken about any type of cryptocurrency before or even acknowledged that we even have it. I just wanted to show that. But watch, you're watching Ripple pretty much into the Amazon of crypto in real time. Lock into this particular video.
Ripple. The area I look after at Ripple is called RippleX. It basically brings together all of Ripple's contributions to the layer one blockchain, the XRP ledger. And you highlighted the institutional DeFi roadmap that we're pursuing there. And so it's basically, we have a group of product engineering people who contribute with new financial primitives, compliance features onto the XRP ledger. So it can really be a backbone to power this transformation, bring more of traditional financial markets on chain. What I also want to flag, though, is that since day one, the XRP ledger actually came with inherent features that support institutional DeFi. So it's the first blockchain that had a native decentralized exchange integrated on the protocol level. It's the first blockchain that allowed tokenization. We called it IOU back then when nobody even knew about the word tokenization. And we've added other features over time, like compliance features like clawbacks, decentralized identity, An AMM has been introduced last year, and this year we'll continue to add new primitives like a lending protocol that's going to come natively, and we're also aiming to bring programmability and more business logic for financial applications developers to the XRP ledger. And then the second piece is really Ripple at large. And so, you know, we used to be really recognized as predominantly a payments company, and I would say over the last couple of years really evolved into kind of like this one-stop shop for digital asset infrastructure. So we have a Ripple custody product, which is obviously another foundation to enabling tokenization. We have our contributions to the XRP ledger that I just alluded to. We have the flagship payments product. We also launched our own stablecoin and are a partner around like stablecoin issuance on the XRP ledger. And so it brings together kind of like the ability to really be not only a partner for, RWA tokenization, but to really be able to kind of like provide a whole ecosystem for financial institutions looking into that space. So, yeah.
All right, they're trying to provide a whole ecosystem for financial institutions in that space. So that was always good to look and listen to. So banks need XRP and they won't tell you why. Financial systems is shifting fast. So pretty much just saying why banks will need XRP and how it is quietly integrating XRP. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a girl on YouTube just telling you guys the news. Make sure you buy more. All right, this is Brad Garlinghouse pretty much speaking about XRP is going to skyrocket. That's not what he said in general, but everybody always got their price predictions on XRP in particular. It says 10,000 in months, things like that. So just listen to a little bit what Brad Garlinghouse had to say. I'm not going to play the entire 15 minutes, but I definitely wanted you guys to see it and just watch more in your own time. So
this has been a long battle. How much certainty does this provide? Is the entire case over?
So this provides a lot of certainty for Ripple, for frankly me personally, because the SEC had sued me. The SEC has abandoned their appeal. And so they filed suit in December of 2020. We won on the key parts of the case in the summer of 23. Judge Torres made a ruling that XRP in and of itself was not a security. That's almost a verbatim quote. The SEC filed an appeal about 8 months ago. And what they've now agreed is that they're going to drop that appeal. We still have a cross appeal pending. And so we go from being defendant really to plaintiff. So we now are in the driver's seat to determine how we want to proceed.
Are you dropping it?
We're going to see. It feels a lot better to be on the offense than the defense. 4 years, we spent over $150 million defending that case. Not just for Ripple, but for the whole industry. I think it was really important that this SEC, the Gensler SEC, was really trying to bully and continue lawfare, filing lawsuits and lawsuits and lawsuits against crypto companies. That's over now, and I think that's great for the U.S. crypto industry and, frankly, great for crypto at large.
I mean, to that end, if you're looking at a new SEC, why not drop the case at this point? Why not clear why not clear the water?
Well, that certainly is an option. I mean, again, it's clear the SEC has said, I think in retrospect, never would have brought this case. The judge did rule in certain instances back in 2015 and 2016, some XRP sales that we sold to accredited investors, to institutions, that those had constituted a security. And so there was a $125 million fine that's sitting in escrow. We wouldn't mind having that back. That's on the table. And I think there's some nuances to how this will play out. But it was important for us, for really the whole XRP community, for them to know that the case is over. For all intents and purposes, the case is over. The SEC is no longer pursuing this.
But to that end, to your point here, a court decision had ordered you to pay a $125 million civil penalty for exactly what you're talking about. Is that $125 million paid? Is what you're saying that's still up for dispute?
Yeah. Well, it's not in dispute. I mean, that's sitting in an escrow, and depending upon whether or not we decide to continue with our appeal, we could walk away and the whole thing would be done. On the other hand, when you have a case where there were no investor harm, no investors lost any money, you're kind of like, wait, why are we here? And it really goes back to Gary Gensler fighting a fight that was about power grab, that was about overreach of the bureaucracy to try to take a new industry. That what we're seeing now happen in Washington is smart legislation will come forward. You're seeing that happen with stable coins in real time. I think you'll have a market structure bill, is what it's described as, to provide clarity and rules for the SEC and CFTC.
We will look at the bigger picture.
Right.
We're going to have you for a little while this morning. But do you think that part of this means fighting it till the very end to make sure even that part of uncertainty around being sold to certain investors classifies as a security? Is that what you are fighting for ultimately at this point?
Well, I mean, at this point, all we're fighting for is, do we want to fight to get the $125 million back?
Look, I want them to fight to get that $125 million back. I don't want to play the whole entire thing because I don't want to make the video too long. But I definitely suggest, and I'll put a link in the description below for you guys to look at it more. I also wanted to show this as well. This says large asset manager in crypto confirms that we can be our own bank, basically is what he's explaining. This is another 20-minute video. Again, I'm just here to present the information. I'm not going to show a lot of it.
Improvements in terms of the financial products that we might create in the future.
You know, actually the question is not how institutions are adopting DeFi, it's how they navigate it, right? And now it's really about navigating it versus are they touching it or not? They are. They're already interacting with it. And
all right. I also wanted to bring up Brad Garlinghouse again because once the case was closed, this was another, interview that he was in. Says breaking Brad Garlinghouse confirms that they're tier 1 banks to adopt XRP. So, now that the case has been closed and a lot of things have been now regulation has been clarified, he's able to speak about different things. So just listen up to this.
I mean, the U.S. market has been kind of frozen in terms of financial institutions leaning in. And just in the last few weeks, you're starting to see the ice is thawing, customers are engaging. I'm thinking more on the payment side now. But look, this is where maybe things have gone more slowly than I would have predicted. The payments market is still ripe for change and evolution. And I'm super optimistic about how that's going to play out. It is a multi-trillion-dollar market. It's amazing to me how broken it still is, as my own personal example I referenced earlier. But look, there's so many examples you can point to where you're just like, how is it that we still do it this way? But yet we haven't made that much progress. And so that to me is why one of the many tailwinds which will continue to fuel the crypto market at large this year and beyond. I mean, the U.S. market has been kind of frozen.
All right, so pretty much the U.S. market has been kind of frozen. I also wanted you guys to see him speak more too about we can now announce that the SEC is no longer pursuing the appeal. And this is just another, confirmation from Brad saying that the case is done and over with.
Asset Summit. Just a few minutes ago, right before we walked up here, I posted on X that we can now announce that the SEC is no longer pursuing their appeal in the Ripple case. We're obviously, thank you.
There's something to clap about, man.
Should we get a
4 years.
Can I get you on your feet? This is a great moment. The whole industry, this is a good thing. Come on.
Everybody should be hyped on their damn feet if you buy XRP.
It's been 4 years and about 3 months since the SEC originally sued us. Certainly a painful journey in lots of ways. But as we said then, I mean, 2 things I'll highlight from what we said then. I really deeply believed that we were going to be on the right side of the law and on the right side of history. It's something we said then, and it's something that I feel, kind of vindicated looking at this now. I mean, the other thing I would say, which there's a video I posted on X a short while ago, and one of the things I point out is the system just feels broken that we had to fight this fight for the industry. And you had an SEC attacking the industry, and particularly in the Ripple case, there were no victims.
No victims.
There was no investor loss. This is not, something where the SEC was like, oh, something bad happened. It was just, they were trying to bully. They were just not acting in good faith. And luckily, you did have courts rebuke them. But look, I also, this is a moment to celebrate. I think we as an industry on the other side of it, that's good for everybody involved. It's good for Blockworks. That's good for Bitwise. That's good for Ripple. And so I'm really happy about it.
I'm really happy about it too as well, Brad. I'm going to end that on this note. Brad Garlinghouse said it himself. He's really happy about it. Turn the SEC's TV off. Let's go. I'm out. Peace. I'll see y'all in the next video.